Welcome to Digital Asset News, or Dan for short. My name is Rob, and today, as the thumbnail and title suggest, we're going to talk about what just happened with Jerome Powell and his meeting. And I got to tell you, quite interesting. So we'll talk about Jerome Powell's speech, what he actually said, and I'm going to leave it up to you to decide if this was hawkish or dovish. Also, we'll take a look at some rather bad news, and that is that Kraken had to lay off 30% of its staff. However, on the flip side, here's the good news. Developers are continuing to develop. Crypto market continues to chug along. And also, Brazil just passed a major pro-crypto laws. And Voyager, yes, Voyager, the one I used to talk about all the time, looks like they're going to have a new offer. And then lastly, it's kind of like a thought experiment. I put this out on Twitter yesterday. Just want to see what are you using crypto for? What is the utility that you're using? And the responses, I got to tell you, not really surprising. And lastly, just to let everybody know, tonight, if you are in Puerto Rico, so especially the Condado Santurce area, we're going to do a meetup tonight at the Smokehouse. And of course, as usual, the first round of beers will be on me. Second round will be on Steven, who is the owner of the Smokehouse. So come on out if you can, and we'll talk about that at the very end. So first things first, Jerome Powell, everybody's person that they love to hate. And I got to tell you, he's just doing his job. I mean, quite honestly, I don't see it as like he's being malicious or evil or something like that. I just think he's doing his job and just going, look, I saw what happened with Volcker. I don't want to be like Burns. I'm going to keep on the same course. And people have doubted him forever this whole time, and looks like he's doing the same things he's been doing the whole time. So before this started, this actually just happened about 40 minutes ago. I put out a tweet. I go, I'm just going to go on a limb and say Jay Powell is going to say they're going to stay the course, and he's going to continue to raise the rates because the job isn't done. That's what I thought he would say. And I'm also going to predict that people will hear what they want to hear. And it doesn't matter what I say, what we say. It just depends on the interpretation. That really comes down to where the market goes. And where did the market go? It went up. So even though I hear certain things, maybe it's just me, other people hear other things, and the market increases. Now, does that mean that this means that we're going to start on the next major bull run rally? Probably not. So the real question is, what's the daily close going to be? How high is this going to go? Is it going to drop off when people just go, okay, we're done playing games? Or maybe it just keeps going forever. I don't know. That's why I dollar cost average, because it's very hard to time these markets. So just to give you like a little replay of what was said, I'll go through this. One of the most, I would say the most dovish thing he said was this. Jerome said, the time for moderating the pace of rate increases may come as soon as the December meeting. So he's telling you right now, he's like, look, we might slow down. You know, these 50 basis points, 75 basis points, maybe we go 25. Maybe we go a little lower than that. And that's exactly what he's saying. He goes, it may come as soon as the December meeting. And when he said that, I think that gave people a lot of hope. And I can see how people would dwell on that. But just remember, he also said some other stuff, which is this. History suggests strongly the negative effects of prematurely loosening policy. We will stay the course until the job is done. That is the last thing he said before he said, thank you, I'm out. So remember, this happened again with Volcker and Volcker's predecessor, Burns, where they raised rates for inflation. It wasn't enough. They cut the rates. They stopped the rate hikes, and inflation went through the roof. And what Jerome is doing is like, I'm not going to have that done to me. And there comes a point when you get older in your life where I know some people say, well, it's just political and he's doing this for money. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, like, and then if you're a little older, you may get this. This may make sense. When you're older, it really comes down to your legacy and what you're doing and how you are perceived throughout time. Do you think, I don't think, I could be wrong here, I don't think Jerome Powell wants to be seen as a person who mismanaged the economy and led it into another Great Depression. I think he wants to be the one that looks at it as a staunch advocate of rate hikes and bringing pain, which would avert a depression. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see. That's how I see him. Anyhow, moving forward, here was the summary he said before he took off. Also, growth in the economy has slowed, which is good. They want the economy to slow, GDP to go down, and that needs to be sustained. How do they do that? Rate hikes. Bottlenecks and supply chains, appear to be easing, and this must also continue. Housing services will rise, but if we keep the rates up, housing will fall next year. Labor market shows only tentative signs of rebalancing. Wage growth remains well above levels consistent with 2% inflation. Wage increases, thank you so much for the bump in pay. Unfortunately, it just cost me $10 more to buy milk. So that's not what he said, I'm sorry. That was me ad-libbing. So despite some promising developments, we have a long way to go. Wage growth is up, and that is a good thing. But for wage growth to be consistent, be good for the individual, inflation must come down. Job openings have remained higher than pre-pandemic levels. Excess retirements close to 2 million have led to a surplus of job openings. I'm talking too fast, I'm sorry. Excess retirements close to 2 million have led to a surplus of job openings and will not unwind. They will not be returning to the labor force. Ben from Into the Cryptoverse and Neville also here states that the participation gap is mostly due to excess retirement. So there's a lot of older people. I guess Elon Musk was right. We don't have enough people in the world to really take over as the old baby boomers start to retire. Like, we're not coming back. Also, they're not coming back because they're retired. Also, they're not coming back because they're sick. That's how it is. And overall participation remains well below pre-pandemic trends. And that's what's going on. So again, I'll leave it up to you because I saw it one way. Other people saw it the other way. And of course, the market says, ha, to the moon, baby, when Lambo. And that's what's going on. Let me just think about that in the comments section, and we'll see. Also, I guess that wasn't really bad news. I mean, it is what it is. This is from Jesse Powell. He is the former CEO of Kraken. He just lays it out like this. Rough day at Kraken, headcount rolled back 12 months. Macro was tough, and we held out, but recent industry woes diminished near-term optimism about a crypto rebound. Jesse should have waited until this rebound. Just kidding. I think he knows that in the long term, too, we're not going to see a sustained rebound. We're better positioned now. Glad we're able to take good care of our former colleagues. Been a privilege. And this is Jeff Roberts, crypto editor, and he says, yeah, 30%. They get a separation pay, performance bonus benefits. And if you've ever been laid off like I have, it does suck. It's awful because you're like, what, am I not good enough? You don't want me here? It's not about that. It's just about numbers. And looks like they overhired a little bit too much, and now they have to trim down to stay lean, to stay solvent. And I said, hey, bravo. I mean, I'm sorry that these people lost their jobs, but Kraken, good job staying solvent, protecting people's funds, and not doing something crazy like intermingling funds to keep people on to make yourself a zombie company. This is how free markets work. If it doesn't work out, you have to lay off people to move forward. And that means people like you or I, if we were so inclined to leave our crypto on there, could actually take it off. I don't recommend that. That's what it is. So that's what's going on in the market. I expect more layoffs. I expect more job losses. I expect a slowdown of GDP coming up, and I expect 2023 to have a recession. But these are the things that have to happen, and I welcome them because with every downside comes some good news. Some good news. First up, crypto keeps chugging along. This is a ranking of active developer counts about what's going on. This is actually from sentiment data. They took a look, and this is over the last year or so. Yeah, for quite some time. No, it was last month or 3 months, I think so. But here's the rank of active developers. Ethereum is number 1. Which is not surprising. Everything's built on Ethereum almost, right? Surprisingly, Cardano, number 2. Polkadot, looking good at number 3. Cosmos, fantastic. Near, Hedera. Solana, number 7. Aptos, which I keep hearing is not the greatest project, still is a number 8. Elrond, 9. Polygon. I thought Polygon would be a little bit higher with all the different announcements they've had, but so much so forth. Bitcoin, Algorand, Avalanche, round up the top 20 or top 17. Jeez Louise, Tron is 16th. Congratulations, Tron holders. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I mean, it's been sticking around. So that's good news, I think. Also, Brazil just passed a law to legalize crypto as a payment method. Now, it's not legal tender per se. It's not like El Salvador, but it's a step in the right direction. However, just like in the United States, we have the House of Representatives and it has to go through the Senate. Same thing here. The law was approved by the Chamber of Deputies of Brazil, but still requires the approval of the executive branch to be enacted. But I got to tell you, that's looking pretty promising. The bill does not make any crypto legal tender. However, the bill will include digital currencies and air mileage programs in the definition of payment methods that are under the supervision of the country's central bank. Man, not to put down air mileage, but what a crummy sector to be included into. Like, here's your, goofy air mileage things, and you'll also be a part of a crypto decentralized. We know you're going to change the world, but also air mileage programs. So, just me. The law enables the creation of licenses for crypto exchange platforms and for custody and management of crypto by third parties. And this is the big thing. In addition to this, the law will require exchanges to make a clear distinction between company and user funds, which means they can't intermingle those funds, which means people can't lose all their crypto like we have been getting scrawed over here in the United States. For some reason, we just can't get that right. And there we go. So Brazil learning from, you don't have to learn from mistakes, or you have to learn from mistakes. These don't have to be your mistakes. Warren Buffett said that, and it's very clear right here that Brazil goes, man, America's been screwing up left and right. We should probably do it this way. Bravo, way to do it. Also in good news, I thought this was pretty interesting. INX submits a bid to purchase Voyager's assets. Now we've got two in the running. We had Binance, and now we've got INX, which I didn't know who the heck these people were, honestly. But that's great. That means there could be a little bidding war. I don't know what's going on with Celsius. I don't think anybody wants that, but here we are. So INX's bid to acquire Voyager leverages its position as both a FINRA and SEC regulated broker-dealer, and as a crypto trading platform in 43 U.S. states and territories in which it has obtained money transmitter licenses. You know who also did that? Coinbase. Also, Binance US did that. So if you want to make things a little bit steady, you got to play ball with the regulators. I know people will say, Rob, we don't want regulation. All right. I mean, you can keep doing this, but I mean, just going to prolong the inevitable. It's otherwise authorized to operate. The end-to-end regulated platform, the end-to-end regulated platform, INX.1, enables trading, issuing, minting, and instant settlement of security tokens and cryptos. Security tokens can be used to offer profit sharing. I like that. Voting rights and equity representation. I like that too. Additionally, they can be leveraged as part of a debt restructuring and bankruptcy loss recovery mission. That's the same thing that Simon Dixon's been talking about from Bank of the Future for Celsius for months. That makes a lot of sense. I like adults in the room. I'm not saying that this is the greatest deal of all time. I don't even know what the deal is. I'm just saying it's good to see that two are in the hunt. And this is the website, one.inx.co. I have no affiliate link. I don't even have a link for it. You got to find it yourself. So that's what's going on. And lastly, in 2021, INX became the first SEC-registered digital security IPO, closing with 83 million gross proceeds from over 7,300 retail and institutional investors. And also roughly 100 million INX tokens were sold in the IPO. I don't really like that because that's the same thing that Sam Bankman-Fried did. And that's where they got a lot of their funds, from magic internet money. We'll see how this works out. But I think that's positive. I like those things, and that's what we have. Anyhow, let me just think about that in the comment section. I'm just getting a little leery because I'm jaded, and that's it. But now let's get into... So we talked about, Kraken and J Powell, and we talked about some good news. Now I just want to do like a little thought experiment. I asked this question yesterday. I had to ask the question, what do you use crypto for? And if we think about it, what's the utility for these products, right? And everybody's going to, essentially say the same thing. Well, with Bitcoin's peer-to-peer transaction, that's what the white paper says, when Satoshi Nakamoto said. People say it's a store of value. People say it's digital gold. Okay, that's just Bitcoin. Then moving down, we got smart contracts and they use for NFTs, and we can do a lot of things with gaming and metaverse plays. I'm like, okay, what do you do it with? What do you use crypto right now today? What's the utility? I was just curious. And here's what we got. So Shark Puncher, that's pretty funny. He says, look, I actually use it sometimes for purchasing because sometimes websites give discounts. if you pay with Bitcoin. It's kind of like those air mileage we just talked about. So I buy the Bitcoin, and it's one more step to save 10 or 20% on something I'm already buying anyway, so why not? So, okay, there's a little utility there. Johnny says, I'm here for the tech. I either transfer my bajillions anywhere in the world. And of course, there's about 100 comments, but most people were saying that I use crypto just to lose money. That's what it was. But Brian's got a really good point here. Brian Seavey, as a vote for freedom and as an opposition to fiat oppression. And I got to tell you, that's a pretty on the nose comment. And I know people will say like there's the gold bugs and the people will say, well, fiat's going to zero. You know who else thinks it's going to zero? Charlie Munger. So like if you believe in like crypto and where things are going, just listen to good old Charlie. I have nothing against Charlie. I think he's great investor, good for him. But this is what he talks about as far as the US dollar and fiat. Just take a listen. Hold on, let me get this going.
The safe assumption for an investor is that over the next 100 years, the currency is going to zero. That's my working hypothesis.
Wow. Well, that'll be a different type of environment.
That's one way to say it. So yeah, so like in this one, I can see it. I can say, well, we want to hold on to it. But, however, it's as Mr. Munger said, 100 years is quite a long time. But again, it could be a vote for freedom. Fantastic. Panda Pie says, invest, accumulate, and stake. I can't yet picture myself using a crypto credit card. Jeremy, former winner of the Ledger Nano X that we just gave away. He says, for today, investment. Let's be honest. That's what we all see it for, investments, right? Is anybody buying Bitcoin right now to use it solely as a payment, peer-to-peer transaction, like what the white paper said? Or are you using it for digital gold? Or are you using it just to hoard it because you think the numbers will go up? And then also, I know people will say, well, but bro, NFTs. Are you buying NFTs as a digital ID? Are you buying the NFTs to prove that you have validation for certain property rights? Are you buying NFTs for a certain specific utility, or because it's got a really cheap floor price and you like how the numbers go up? I'm just asking the questions because it's just interesting. But Jeremy says in 3 to 5 years, payment currency to buy a fridge. I can see that, payment currency. Tyler says, what do you use Amazon stock for? It's an investment vehicle. What do you use fine art for? And if you haven't noticed, this little thing underneath here, let me stop this. Fine art, Masterworks. Buy fractionalized shares of fine art pieces and hold for a while and see how those work out. I personally have it myself. This is my hedge. This is what I use as far as diversification. Masterworks, check it out, link in the description. So again, back to this one. Yeah, that was pretty good. What do you use the internet for? Well, I use the internet for a lot of things. And Matthew says it like this. I use the internet for a lot. Shopping, streaming, tweeting. I can't say I've used crypto or any of that. I will say this. I have done a little bit of shopping with StormX. I have used it for streaming services, this thing called Theta. I don't know if you checked out Theta. They're going to relaunch their mainnet 4.0 metachain. And they got a lot of good ideas as to what it is. Essentially, reducing the costs for streaming services for a lot of these streaming platforms. And of course, pay the people to watch videos instead of you watching videos and getting bombarded with ads. I'm just saying, it's one of those things. And then, let's see, blockchain tech. So far, losing to thieves, DJ crypto self-harm. And most of it's just investments. And there really wasn't a really great, like, as far as like utility right now. Well, I mean, they bought DNet, so yeah, I can see why you'd want to use that. And that's it. So now I'm just going to ask the question to you as we get into the Q&A section. What's your utility for crypto right now? What do you use it for? What do you see it doing? And as the numbers go up, just be honest. And that is it. So look, that is it for today's news. Lastly, I will just say we are doing the crypto meetup, some of my favorite things to do over at San Juan Smokehouse. And there is a, let's see. Actually, I didn't do that. Hold on. There is a link in the description. Let me put it in because I didn't do it. actually. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So it'll be from